Hello. Thank you very much. Right, so I will point with the laser. My name is Daniel Maslin, and I did my greetings already. I will do them again for people here on site and for people online. Konnichiwa. Today I'm going to talk about something that covers nicely, I think, with what I talked about last time. I talked about good testing. Who were here? Who was, you were there? Good. That's it? 3 people? All of the other ones are new? Who is new? Who is new? Excellent. I will talk about good testing in a little bit. It's good like an acronym. G.O.O.D. Doesn't necessarily mean good or bad, okay? But I will explain. And I had also the wonderful opportunity to be part of the TV, the local TV with Kento-san, setting up a little TV. So maybe you can check that out. I hope maybe I will be with Kawaguchi-san or others to talk like this. Or if you have questions, you can talk to me after, okay? I'm easy to talk to, believe it or not, even though I look intimidating in my clothes. So, clear your minds and take a look. What do you see? Who sees it moving? Do you see things moving? Anything moving? People back there? Does it look like it's moving a little bit? I see someone giving me some feedback. Yeah. Well, guess what? It's not moving. This one, I go back. It's not moving. But your mind thinks it's moving. Okay? So the mind, your mind, you're Japanese, I'm American, it doesn't matter, the same hardware. Okay? Different software, same hardware. So you're seeing something, maybe it looks like it's moving, it isn't. If you get it this angle, you can see it's not moving. Sometimes you need to get at the right angle to see something. That's not what I'm talking about today. I'm also not talking about this. Who sees the different thing? Many of you see the letter E. Some of you don't. 30% will never see the letter E, because their brain is wired just to look at all the S's and then everything's S. And the next one, maybe you see lines that are crooked, but in fact, I swear to you, they're exactly the same. If you come at this angle, you see they're exactly the same. Yes, they're exactly the same apart. Let me see, what can I use? Ultraman? I don't know. Is that about correct? Yeah, look, exactly the same. Yes? So sometimes you need something to measure, to see reality. So I'm talking here about perception. So this is also interesting. If you focus in one area here, you lose the dots on the other side. Correct? This is not what I'm talking about either. Because I'm not talking about zooming in too much and losing. I'm talking more about this. Now, who sees the panda? Raise your hand if you see a panda. Do you see a panda? The people in the back, you see panda? You don't see a panda. What is panda in Japanese? Panda. So watch this. Maybe you're too close. You see the panda. Now they see the panda. So if you're too close to a problem, you can't solve it. Sometimes if you're too far away, you can't see it. That's what I'm talking about today. Okay? Now we're awake now? The sake, the coffee? Okay. So, this is me driving down the highway in Belgium. Normally I drive around 140, 130. I'm not a good boy. I drive too fast. And when I'm driving, I listen in my MP3 audio to sound, to audio. I multitask. And one thing I love is philosophy. I love Greek philosophy, Japanese philosophy, but one thing I like is Chinese philosophy. Huh? Where's my friend Amy? Amy, where are you? Hi. Chinese philosophy. Good morning. Ohayo gozaimasu. The Tao Te Ching was written by Lao Tzu, means old man, and it was written around the 4th century BC. That's a long time ago. That's before Daniel-san. But what I like about it is it's 81 chapters of philosophy, and each one is very individual. But taken as an individual piece, they form a large whole. Okay, it's the second most translated book in the world, besides the Bible. Now, I'm not going to get religious on you today. I don't want you to go to the temple with me today. I just want you to understand that there's also ways to apply this philosophy to business. So this Japanese person, Yoshifumi Taguchi, actually wrote a book about management based on the Tao Te Ching. Remember I told you about balance. So interesting is that while you're driving, how many of you drive? You drive a car? Many take Shinkansen. I take Shinkansen. You all drive. So you know then that you have to look at the big picture always, right? Yeah? You have to look also in your rear view mirror. I don't have it here. Yeah, here. You have to look everywhere. And now I saw advertisement on the TV with Subaru. It looks for you and it stops your car. Wonderful. But in theory, the human is in control of the car. In theory. Not the car is in control of the human. This would be maybe dangerous. We will see. The people who have promised self-driving cars for 50 years now, I have not yet to see them. I was in Mountain View on the campus of Google. I only saw one self-driving car with a little thing spinning and a human inside the car, okay? But what I can tell you is that you as a human are doing something very interesting when you're driving. You're looking at the big picture, but you're also doing asymmetric looking down at your instrumentation panel, yeah? You're looking at your speed sometimes, but you don't just stare at the speed the whole time, right? That would be very dangerous. How fast are you going, Daniel? I'm going 100 and... So if I get too detailed in one point of data, I lose the big picture. I don't see the panda coming at me. Big panda. So I'm looking asymmetrically though, fancy word, meaning right now, viewpoint of me, sorry, I can zoom in on lean coffee, I zoom back and I'm here. This is my reality. Then I can zoom in outside to the weather and I zoom back. But it's not equal distant, right? That's 30 meter, that's 50 meter. It's not symmetric. But my point of view is always one place, okay? So you need to ask yourself, what is my position as a tester, as an engineer, as a manager, as the president of the company, as the end user, stakeholders? What is their position? How are they relate? Are they interested in the test cases? I don't think the end user is interested in the test cases. They just want the system to work. Is the manager interested? No, maybe not. Well, they might check your test cases. Or did you get the test cases done? But in theory, and that's what good testing was about, if you're transparent with all of the stakeholders, even the end users, they can see what is tested, what is working, what is good. This gives more confidence in the system for everyone. It doesn't need to be a secret. If there's a defect, hey, that's part of the way. If I'm driving down the road and there's a car that has stopped with a flat tire, I don't panic. Oh my God, there's a car stopped in the road. No, I slow down, I adjust my speed. Yeah, I do a laser over there. Okay? Same thing with the projects. You don't panic. That's what I want you. I want you to leave today like Ultraman, with Ultraman glasses. I zoom in, I zoom out, I relax, I can see the detail, I can see the big picture. Right. Raise your hand if you're understanding so far. Because this is like mathematics. This is the easy part of the discussion. It gets more complicated. Who raise your hand if you don't understand? No? So you're all happy and you all understand. I don't believe you. Okay. We go on. Imagine you could both get the big picture and zoom in at the same time. Simultaneous. Not look in and then be big, no, but have the overview. This is what I'm talking about. Okay? Having that ability to go between. This is what you do all the time on your smartphone, eh? When you're zooming in and out. You have to do it. Okay? Now, I'm Daniel Maslin. I'm 56. I'm certified in ISTQB, TMAP. I'm a professional Scrum Master. All of that. It looks good on my, it's true. Looks good on my CV. Who cares? Who cares? It's just paper. What is important is what I've done and what I can do for you and for the world, right? Yes, some of us understand DevOps, some don't. It's okay. Some believe still in the V model, eh? They don't like Agile. And you know, sometimes I don't blame them. Because the 4 Agile principles, people say they know it, but this is just also a mindset. Responding to change over following a plan. Yeah? Customer collaboration over contract negotiation. Human interactions over processes and tools. Etc., etc. But do people actually practice it? Let me tell you, no, they don't, not always. And they say, we Agile. Are you? Then you should be able to have the big picture. Because Agile is just one way to work. Okay? Yeah. Agile is only one way to work. Scrum is a way to implement Agile. Right? With roles. We have a Scrum Master. We have a team. We have a product owner. Just, it's like playing a game, like Monopoly. Right? We make games. But it's good we need this because humans need structure to work together. I will talk about Yuval Harari later, a writer. Because we have front lobe. We need to work together. We have a brain. That's what separates humans from animals. If you put 30,000 chimpanzees in a football stadium, it's different than 30,000 human beings in a football stadium. Usually. That's because of this part of the brain, number 13 in this diagram. It's called the frontal lobe, the higher menial functions. Now, the funny thing is, we still don't know a lot about the human brain. Okay? I do know that coffee helps my brain. Arigato. Because coffee is a stimulant. Yeah? So it makes your brain work faster. Yeah, really. Sake is the opposite. And then you start to act funny and you say things you normally wouldn't say. It's nice. I liked the keynote yesterday. He said, you can drink sake, it makes you happy. Yeah. If you use it in balance, it makes you happy. Absolutely. But sometimes we need to just be creative. Sometimes we need to think not just as a divide the universe, but to also see it as a whole. So this is about reductionistic thinking and holistic thinking, okay? So reductionistic thinking is, I want to know every little piece of this thing. And yes, it's true, there are people who are very good, like a watch, like I just got this Seiko watch, you know. It's little pieces working together. Very important. Some people pay hundreds of thousands of euros for a good Swiss watch because it works perfect. But in the end, it just tells you the time. You can buy one for 50, it does the same. So it's not just about time. It's about looking important, right? Yes. But we all have the same brains. That's the nice message I want to give you. You all are very powerful people. You all have a very, very intelligent brain. You just got to know how to use it and use it fully to your advantage. So don't just always drill down and find your band-aid solutions and correct the defect and get quick and panic. Think big. Think big picture. You know, regression is when you make a change and it affects the whole system, right? We've all done this, yeah? We solve one problem and another one comes. I saw the graphic, the boy yesterday. You hit one beaver and the other beaver comes up. I don't know who it was. I don't need to speak Japanese. I know exactly what he was talking about. So the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. So you saw Lao Tzu, 4th century Chinese. This is 4th century AD, Greek, Aristotle. Plato, Aristotle, Sophocles. So the Chinese were advanced, let's say. Let's say. But it doesn't make them better. Just because you're the first doesn't make it better. But what is interesting is I have a hobby. I ride a Vespa. Anyone ride Vespa? You know Vespa? Okay. One person, Kiro, knows Vespa. And I like to take apart the little parts and make them work together to maintain it. I know all of the little parts, but it's not the same as riding it. That's a different experience. And then I have to ride it in England or in Belgium or maybe one day in Japan. Different environment. The whole environment is the big picture. Just my little piece, my Vespa, me, and the road, all of those different layers. So this is why I'm going to talk to you now. That was all just an introduction, can you imagine? About what is meant by this stuff, how you can use it, what are some rules, how can we think like this? Why is this skill hard to talk about? But why is it all the more rewarding when you do talk about it? Yeah? It's like David Lynch talks about fish, ideas like fish. And when you just go in a little 1 meter, it's a simple fish. It's a simple idea, Scrum. You go in a further, it's a deeper idea, TDD, which is Tommy-driven development. Hi. He taught Ken Black how to do. I believe it. Then you go in deeper, deeper. Maybe it gets more abstract, but the fish gets more exotic, more tasty. Maybe today is like this. So thank you for going deep with me today. Relax. Let's go deeper. I want to rewire your mind today. You need to hack yourself. Yeah? I see it in some of you now. Now I see the look, the zoom. I'm just a messenger. You could be up here. I hope to see you up here in the keynote next year. You share your ideas, because every idea is part of the whole. Every person has their special idea. Even Aki-san. So, it's contextual. But I'm not talking about context testing. I'm talking about the context. It's a balance between the big picture and details. Are you ready? Let's go to Niigata. Let's go to Niigata. We're gonna zoom into Niigata in Japan. Let's go to Niigata. We're gonna go to Plakatu in Nino land. Okay? Niigata Station, Plakatu. Plaka is Greek for plaza. Nino is Niigata Innovation. Hi. There's the entrance right there. But if you go in and zoom in and out in Google Maps, or whatever, it's different than when you're here, right? Different experience. You can zoom in and out better, right? But you're stuck. My perspective is here. I can't go and look at the whole thing, you see? I can only see here. But maybe this is enough for me. I chose to come here. I could be talking to you on Zoom. I could be talking you onto the planet with my friends in M83. Maybe this is just my avatar, and I'm actually in M83 right now. So this may be the kind of information I need, very detailed. Maybe not. It's a balance. So what's the big picture? Where do you see the big picture? Someone point to the big picture. Aha. Amy, someone went like this. Correct. Because if we get too big, we know the Earth is part of the solar system, is part of the galaxy, the Milky Way. It gets too big. Daniel, what the hell are you talking about? The manager only wants to know this. Yeah, but our software is going to be used in Japan and in America. And yeah. If it works in Japan, it will work in America. Oh, no. Maybe, actually. If you make a good Toyota was successful. They made cars. Well, guess what? A road is a road. Oh yeah, they need to make one drive on the left, one on the right. They need to make modifications, but the basic idea is the same. WhatsApp is WhatsApp. The only difference is the content and the data. But the platform, at some level, in the big picture, it's all the same platform. But at some special detail level, now I need to localize to Japanese, to Chinese, okay? You need to know that balance. In your test cases, in your test plans and everything, you need to understand this. Who is your end user? You know, sometimes the Chinese, I will say it, the Chinese hack into a system, the Americans hack into a system, they're playing games. It's different scalability, different system, different way to look at the world, different way to see the panda. You start to think? And we don't want to get too detailed either, because then we get into subatomic particles, okay? Daniel, what are you doing talking about this piece of data in this test case with this little comma? And then, yeah, but it will break our whole system. Yes, Daniel, don't worry. Too much detail. But who thought that the little coronavirus that's subatomic would destroy the whole world for 2 years, in a way? Who saw it coming? Did you see it coming in your big picture? You didn't? You didn't? I'm sure Ultraman saw it coming. Because remember, their job is to clean up the monsters that come to Earth, you know? Sometimes the monsters are very big, though. Sometimes the monsters are very small. Okay? In your project, sometimes the problems are very big. Sometimes they're really small. But a small problem can have a big result, and a big problem, don't worry. It's just the G7 summit, don't worry. You see, the G7 summit, you know, newspapers also give you the big picture. They give you the local news, and then they give you the global news, right? How many of you read global news? No, I do. How many of you read only the local news? No hands anyway. You don't even read the newspaper, I remember. Because you don't want to kill a tree, huh? But Japan loves paper, come on. I have paper tickets for my Shinkansen, I have paper for my breakfast, I have paper. So the fact is, a newspaper is still useful because you get the big picture in one package. I can zoom in and out depending on the page I'm in. Right? And if something's happening in Afghanistan or in Ukraine, it has an impact on what happens in Japan. The world is interconnected now, okay? And maybe one day we will go to Mars, and then it will be interconnected solar, and then we'll have a larger big picture. Maybe it's already like that, and you just don't know, because you don't see the panda. Okay. So, as you said, correct, the big picture is the whole thing. Amy, I'm sorry, the red thing at the bottom is not so clear, but it's the whole thing. It's not just this is the big picture, that the big picture is the whole spectrum. You see? So let's make it less abstract for you. What's Niigata? If I ask everyone here what is Niigata, I will get a different answer, right? Some will be the same. What is Niigata for you? Sake. What is Niigata? Sake. All of the sake, raise your hand. Okay, you're out. What is, who didn't raise out? What is Niigata for you? Rice. What is Niigata for you? Sushi. Niigata is for me, friends. Friends. Hi. What is Niigata for you? Friends. Friends with sake, it's even better. But the point is, if we want to answer this question together as a team, our team, what is Niigata? You know, because don't forget, in the city hall of Niigata, they're probably saying, what is Niigata? They probably ask, what is Niigata? How can we show this to the people who come to Niigata? Well, we can just get them to ask, what is Niigata? I like this solution. You don't say, Niigata is, you just say, what is Niigata? Huh? So, Niigata, maybe like you said, it's sake. So here's a brewery, a sake brewery, I don't. But you don't need to go too far out, but you don't need to go too close in. Okay, what you do need to know is there is Niigata by Sado Island. Okay, so the big picture is everything from the global to your multinational corporations, to larger, to smaller teams, all the way down to the infrastructure, your servers, your networks, down to the software you use, the software tools you use, testing tools. I won't mention any because I'm tool agnostic. And all the way down to the data and your test cases and the individual data and subscripts you write. That's the big picture. And I can tell you with 22 years of experience, I've seen problems at all of those levels. You might be surprised. Most people think the problems are here, in the network, in the tools, no. Most of the problems are around the middle, where the management vision meets the practical side of making a project happen. These are the people who make it happen. This is usually where I am. It's easy to be here, I think. Sorry. I know it seems hard because we talk about management level 3, responsibility. But in the end, this is where it starts to, where the wheels of the car hit the road, right here. And if there's a mechanical problem in the car, okay, maybe. But sometimes it's a problem with the road itself, the engineering of the highway or the vision. Okay? So there's different scale to consider. And it's hard to communicate between those stakeholders, those layers. So, do we have any rules for this, Zoom? No, I'm sorry. No solid rules. But I can tell you that it's not like Agile, what I'm talking about today. It is a mindset. It's useful to think this way. I do know that I've solved many problems with my teams thinking this way. And it's not prioritization. I'll talk about that later. It's not risk analysis. It's about knowing how to be agile, in the end, being quick back and forth with your problems. So it's related, but it's also supportive of good testing. What you need to do is to learn to ask questions together, the right questions. What is Niigata? Am I too vague? But what is the problem? Why did we have this problem? Don't blame anyone. It's his fault, it's her fault. No. This is bad. This is pessimism. This is shame. Never helps. It's easy to say, Daniel did it. The coffee machine is broke. Oh, Daniel did it. Oh, I'm so sorry. I broke the coffee machine. I'm so sorry. Oh, arikari. No, this doesn't solve the problem. The question is, how did we break the coffee machine? Is the coffee machine broken? You know, as a Westerner, Japanese toilets are very challenging. Many buttons, many stuff. One time I went and I used a Japanese toilet in a public place. It was broken. But I thought I was broken because I swear I was pushing the right button and it didn't work. I thought, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm doing. But in fact, it wasn't me. The toilet was broken. But you can imagine the shame I had when I left, that I didn't know how to use something so simple. I felt like a little child. But why didn't someone put on the thing broken, you know? Because they didn't know. Okay, it can happen. Even those complex toilets can break. Start with questions. What are the external drivers of my system? You have systems? You test systems? Yeah? How many of you know what are the drivers of your system, the external drivers? All of your end users, all of the inputs. Do you know them all? I don't think so. You'd be surprised. You maybe know a part of the panda, you need to know the full panda. So this is double loop learning. Most people only work with single loop. What do I mean by double loop learning? It's not a phrase I came up with, but it means that most people work here, yeah? Defining an intended outcome, like you're defining a test case, you observe it with your software, you have a problem, you assess if it passes or fails, you develop a solution, you put that and implement, and you go in this circle all the time. Guess what? No good. No good. You just fix things. You don't know why. You need to then do the second loop and say, you know, are we thinking good? Is our solution good? Do we really need to fix something that's not good? Then you're just making something bad good. Really bad. I made something really bad really good. I made really bad coffee really good. Yeah, but it's bad coffee. Yeah, but I made it in 1 minute. Yeah, but it's bad. It's too water or it's too thick. Oh, I didn't know. What is good coffee? Okay, now we can talk. For an Italian, good coffee is strong and dark. They call an Americano Italian with water. It's all a taste. What is good coffee might be subjective. But we should all agree maybe what is a good coffee. And the most successful companies are the ones who found the balance. Starbucks, maybe? I don't know. Double loop learning asks you to develop new beliefs. It's not easy to do this. Because you're confronted with your own missing part of your brain. You have to first, in order to do the big picture, you have to admit that I don't see it. I have limited sensing. My eyes can be fooled. Magicians are great. They can make things, I love it, you know? I have a friend, and I love, and he pulls a card. Yeah, it's gone. And I know it's a trick. I know he's doing something simple. But I love to be fooled. And then when he shows me the trick, and he breaks it down, reduction, I don't like it now. The magic is gone. But I see it, but I've learned to do both the trick and be tricked. Sometimes you have no time for tricks in business, in IT. You need to move fast. Okay? The V model, let's do this with a cherry tree. This is just the blossom, then you have the branch, then you have the bigger branches, then you have the tree, your system testing, right? You know, even if you're doing Agile or DevOps, you need to think a little bit like this, huh? And with your tests, you don't need to think, you don't need to call it this. That's forbidden to use V model with Agile. Oh. But maybe the acceptance test is just having the cherry. But don't forget the big picture, because the season and how much rainfall we got impacts everything. And this gives you a kind of calmness. If you can keep the big picture in your projects, then you can keep a calm. You're able to go into the unknown area and know that you have rules that will keep you safe wherever you go. If you go out of Japan into another universe, there's some basic rules. One of them is that ability. You know, I'm 56. I'm a young man. Because I've only been around for 56 years. The world has been around over 4 billion. Humans have only been, if you take the time of the Earth as a 24-hour clock, we humans have been on the planet for 3 seconds. Okay, we're pretty cool, huh? Look what we did in 3 seconds. The dinosaurs were here for about 4 minutes. Then the asteroid hit. But we are very good at creating complex technology. And it doesn't just go like this, in the chip, to this, and the next chip, and the next hardware. It goes exponential. 22 years ago, I guarantee you, no one carried a smartphone. Now, you can't imagine going out without these things, you know? I can't go to Japan without this. I need it to show my this and the customs, and really, you cannot go travel without one. Try. So the device, we have become cyborg now. Huh? There's no going back. Probably it will be implanted in us, okay? So, but there's always a complexity in innovation. So we testers are always trying to keep up with this, right? There's a new solution, a new technology. Ooh, I want to test that. AI, oh. Bitcoin, oh. I was talking about this thing years ago. But did I test them all? No, I started to test them. So our testing has always been trying to catch up. We're always trying to evolve with the technology. Some of you are using DevOps, some of you are using CI/CD, continuous integration, continuous development. Some of you are not. It's okay. Some of you are using advanced analytics and AI in your testing, yes? Using algorithms? Maybe not. It's okay. What I'm saying is you need to use a new form of evolution in testing. We need to have a cognitive evolution. Maybe it's like the Renaissance. We need to go back to the simple basics, the antiquity. Okay? You need to keep the technological advance, but we need to go back thinking about the classic rules. Good. Big picture. Agile, yes, but don't get limited in one way of working. And then you will have a better way to look in and out, simultaneous. If you don't think that there is a gap in the new technology out there, then you weren't watching the TV in the last 3 months. Because there are objects that have been observed, absolutely factually documented, that faster than F-35, faster than F-16. Okay? And they can turn like this. Is it the Chinese? I don't know. Is it the American? I don't know. I don't care. Is it Ultraman? I don't think so. I think it's human. I don't think it's UFO. But whoever they are, they have high technology. Maybe they're just testing it. So, interesting to know that we have smartphones now. The smartphone was invented in 1966, if you want to know, all of the little pieces about the touch screen and about a small camera. All of those were different. Then Apple just put them all into one. They were military patents, and they made it into a smartphone. Free patents. We call it a smartphone. This is amazing technology. I want to test this. How do we know that our testing styles like Scrum, Agile, are worth retaining? Well, we need to prove it. You know, in the old days, Einstein said something simple. E equals mc squared. You know this formula? Yeah? How many of you really know it, though? E is energy, m is mass, and c is the speed of light squared. That's really fast. That's Ultraman speed. Okay? That simple formula, though, you just take it for granted. Did you invent it? No. But you trust it, right? Why? You didn't prove it. You use Agile. You trust it. Did you invent it? Like the guys in Utah in 2001? Harry von Bennekem. You know? I know these guys. I talk to these guys. Well, they all have their own way of doing Agile. Huh? DSDM, Scrum. Huh? But you need to prove it. And you can prove E equals mc squared by using a universal law of mathematics. Mathematics is very pure. Yeah? So what I'm talking about today is hard to put into a mathematical formula, I know, but I will work on it. What I do know is that in order to have this zoom, remember you're supposed to help me, huh? Yeah. With the zoom, you want to be able to, when you zoom, I call it the zoom. It's not the meeting zoom. Maybe I should use a different word. I was with Kogami-san. Kogami, where are you? There he is. Ah, you see the camera he's holding? That's a zoom. Perfect timing. So do you see he can zoom in right now into that little hair in my nose? My teeth? Or he can zoom all the way out. Just like that. And he has a strap around his neck, and I really appreciate that. Perfect timing. So what is the benefit of having this kind of camera? Because it's very heavy to carry this, you know? If you don't have a subject that's far away, you don't need the zoom. Right? It just looks good. I'm a great photographer with my big Canon zoom lens. Yeah, you don't need it. So the advantage of having a zoom lens at any moment, like he shows you, is if he wants to, he can get that detail. At that moment where I take my hand and sometimes it's important. You're doing it right now. And some of you are maybe falling a little asleep and out of this message. What is going on? That's your brain. Because like I said, we don't use our brain fully. We don't. But you know, I'm not going to just stand here. I move around. When I move, you actually wake up more. If I go like this, it's different. Your eyes stimulate even more. You wake up even more. Because that's motion. Yeah? What is the benefit of having this zoom compared to the effort? You know, coffee. If it takes me 5 hours to make a coffee and I drink it in 5 minutes, what's the benefit? No benefit. Coffee must be quick. Drunk quick. What's the benefit of testing 1,000 test cases for something so simple? Come on, keep the big picture, please. Yeah? Maybe you just need 2 or 3. This is why you learn test techniques, boundary value analysis. Decision tables. If you're big on automation, you write all of your automation scripts, but you don't know boundary value analysis, you don't know these things, then you're wasting your time with test automation, okay? You're writing a bunch of automated scripts that prove nothing. Yeah? It's like the little hamster on the wheel. You're going nowhere. You can go fast, but you're going nowhere. So, can you show the value of all of your tests? Really? Is it pointed at the panda? Or are you just testing squiggly line? You don't know why you're testing. I'm testing because I'm testing. No, no good, right? Everything you do has a value. It's what I love about, I should say this without making you feel too, but I love the Japanese culture because you people work as a team. And you work also as an individual. So the big picture. But when you need to do something, you don't do overlap. This one does this. See, look, see the way they set up over there? One is doing the tea, one is doing the box, one is, okay? It's efficient. Nice. I watch the Japanese television in my hotel, and I watch the little TV shows for the children. Every country I go to, I watch the children TV show. There you see the values of the society. This one teaches the boy, the little boy, hello, hi, we get together, we build something together. You see? Nice. I was born in Portugal, but I live in America. That's you, me, I do. I'm great. Individual. The funny thing is, sometimes you need the individual for innovation. Einstein invented this. He needed to be isolated. He was different than the rest of the people. Okay. You need Einstein. But you also need the group. Again, that's the big picture. You know, something funny. In the Niigata train station, there is that store called Big Camera, but it's with a C. But it's Big Camera. My joke, I said to Jonpai-san, you know, if you want to get the big picture, you need the big camera. So that's why I bought the laser pointer. Can we explain it to our new team members? Someone joins the team, you're new. Welcome to the community. Everyone who's new, we were all new at one time. Can we explain these things? Does this make sense to you? If it doesn't, I'm doing a bad job. Throw me off. But if you understand this, and this helps get you to think in another way, then I succeeded today. I'm happy with myself. And we're not done yet. Now, am I repeating a little? Yes, a little bit. Because I want you to get it solid. Then we get more abstract. Okay. Since we want to have a picture both ways, the most successful testing and organizations I've seen are able to go both. Okay? They have the zoom idea, and they go very deep, and they want to find confidence at the very small components and units. So obviously, you want to automate a lot down here. Yes, it's true. Because those are the small parts of my Vespa. Yeah? But I also need to test at the graphical user interface level. That's my client-facing side. And I need to have confidence in the entire system, in the network. Yeah? So you need to make tests and situations going both ways to keep the big picture. I know there's a lot of pyramids here today. Don't worry, I've been reading a lot about Egyptians. It's true. I also write movie scripts. And I'm working on a script about Egyptians and a cat. It's a long story. I hope you will see it one day. So this goes back to the single loop and double loop learning also though. Huh? You're not just writing your test cases to cover the tests and get your coverage. Huh? No, you're asking, are we writing good test cases? Why are we writing these test cases? What's the big picture? Use the big camera. Okay. I'm sorry, I love that joke. I'm glad it works. So, Eme, you still alive? Yes, you are. So this is the big picture. Remember, he said it. You did this. Nice. We need to understand the why behind the problems and modify our actions and things as a team. That way, we will get better. We really will improve. How many of you guys actually do review of your code and review of your test cases and throw away the old ones that don't work anymore? Yeah, you should. It's like going to the refrigerator, you look, oh my God, that sushi is 2 weeks old. But of course, Niigata sake, oh, it stays good. Just put the top. You know, this kind of way of zooming in and out has been put now into the NASA way of going to Mars. When they went to Mars, they always used to just get the small picture. They drop a thing down, and it goes in there, and it looks at the little rock. Oh, my God. And someone probably said, hey, whoa, what the heck are we doing? So they came with this, like a drone, you know, like a zzz. Now they can zoom out, get the big picture, and tell the little guy where to go. Look at the war in Ukraine. Who would have thought that the drone would be so important? Why? It gives the big picture. They used to just fight like, you know, no. So, actually the Japanese culture historically, I'm interested in it, you know, Yamato, and then you have Hokkaido, but there's many islands. And then there's China, Korea, and so I think the old Japanese had the big picture. You know, they got on their boats, they went out, they explored, and they kept visions of the whole thing. And I noticed that, like, yeah, if I go to a Japanese store, they got, okay, they have very nice North Face, and they have nice this and nice, so, you know, you guys go around, you see the nice things, you bring it back, and you get the best of all things. Nice. Good ideas. the big picture. Okay. Book. I like books. The Scout Mindset, written by Julia Galef. What she says is, remember the optical illusions I showed you? Don't fall asleep, not yet. Some of us can't see. Really. You need different scouts on your boat when you go out. But a good scout, she found, is someone who doesn't look optimistically at something, but doesn't look pessimistically at something. I spoke with Kawaguchi-san, Yasunobu-san, and the idea is not to look pessimistic. So if you're listening out there, I agree. You shouldn't do your retrospective and, oh, we're doing very bad. Many defects. Oh. I would say, great. Many defects. Nice. We're finding them. Yeah, but it's bad quality. Oh. And we have much to do, and I'm responsible for very bad code. Yeah, whoa. Engineer-san, relax. It's okay. You're trying. You're doing. Did you learn from it? That's the question. We all make mistakes, but did you learn from it? Yes. So make the mistakes, then you learn. You make no mistake, you don't learn. I'm sorry. It's sad. Could you imagine meeting someone? Hi, how are you? Hi. Did you ever have a problem? No, I never had a problem. Did you ever make a mistake? No, I never made a mistake. You're a real happy guy. Yes, I'm really happy. I'm 100% perfect. You know, no, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Mistakes can be fun. Can you imagine? Now, I will admit, I act like some guru. No, I am not a guru. I don't like to make mistake. But you don't need to say, I'm sorry, when you make a mistake. Right? You should say you're sorry if you don't make a mistake. That's what I think. Really? Yeah. If I'm a boss and I have 10 people and they're writing test case, it's all perfect, it looks perfect, I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. And then we put it in production and it breaks, now I'm going to be angry at my team. But if my team is testing and we make lots of mistakes and we fix them, then in production it's good, okay, that's our job, to make mistakes. Yeah, it's funny, huh? It's a stressful job, IT, huh? It really is. I've done it for 20 to 23 years. I know the stress before release, 3 weeks, we didn't test everything. Of course, because you cannot test everything. You need scouts. You know, they actually give badges for IT in the scouts, not Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts. And you notice it goes to the system and all the way down to the zeros and ones in very good detail. This is a funny one. Sometimes you can see things more clearly when you see the big picture and the small picture. Midori, Satako, are you translating? Does it make sense? It's good we did the dry run, huh? Thank you very much. What do you see? Does someone have an observation here? What is it? Yeah. Yeah. Who saw that? It's a small, big car. This is a photo I took. Hana and me were hiking. And all I saw, I was walking around and this little car came at, you know. I was like, wow, I love models, huh? Look, there they are, the big picture, the big CEOs, you know. These are the people with the radio control. You know what's funny about this little modeled truck, though? You see what I wrote is zoom in, not focus, but to experiment and test at scale. You've heard of model-based testing. It's exactly what you're doing. You're taking the large picture, you're breaking it into models, and you're testing it. What's interesting is the laws of physics work on this car the same way it does in a Toyota Land Rover. This is a Land Rover, I think. Yeah, it's a Land Rover. But if you built this, and it was built with the same weight and engine, then it's the same laws of physics, right? Yes, it is, Daniel. So you can test much cheaper with something like this than the real thing. Huh? And if you make this virtual, which I'm sure you do, with your model-based test cases, or with your software, then you can test your software and break it many times. That's a good way to get the big picture. You have to scale it. When you do performance testing, load test, you put just the normal load, virtually, and when you stress test, you push the system over and you see what it does. Memory leak or problem, right? Stress test is load test. Load test is a test. Test is experiment. Experiment is looking. Picture. Hi. So they're driving their trucks around, having fun. You know, these are not children, you know. These are like 40, 50-year-old Belgians in the forest of the Ardennes, because those models cost a lot of money. When I was a little boy, I always wanted models. So one of my favorite was Tamiya. I loved Tamiya. And Tamiya loved Daniel-san. Because it's very expensive. And I told my mama, oh, I would save my money, you know, I would mow the lawn, I would clean the house, a little bit of money. And I would save my money and I would go down to the model store and I would buy Tamiya, because it was the most detailed, you know, the very detail. They had motorcycles, they had cars, they had tanks and airplanes and soldiers. They even had the bad guys, the Germans, you know. Joking. Any Germans listening, it's a joke. And now they have robots with software built in. Wow. If I was a little boy, I would, you know. Actually, my friend Jonpai-san bought me a model of Ultraman, which combines two of my passion, Ultraman and models. Arigato. I only bring him Belgian chocolate, that's all, I'm sorry. So apply that zoom principle also when you're doing estimations. Okay, I mentioned estimation and prioritization. What do we use in Scrum for estimations? Yeah, you use cards. Do you use cards sometimes? Fibonacci sequence, 1, 2, 3, 3 and 2 is 5, 5 and 3 is 8, 8 and 3 is 11. Okay, what are you doing there? You're going from the small picture to the big picture, right? In sequence. Interesting. Isn't that interesting? Who came up with that idea? Daniel-san? Ah, not necessarily, but someone came up with the idea. Yeah, great. So I have 15 minutes. Someone came up with that idea. And that idea stuck. It works. We like it. You see, we put it to the test. It worked. But don't stop there, eh? The world is not going to stop at Agile and CI/CD and Fibonacci. These one day will be old, okay? Like V-model. Don't sit in one place. The world is changing. You need to change with it. If you don't, then go retire. And the young generation will do. Believe me, the young generation, the young guys, young girls, they really are coming up with the ideas. Of course, they're building on our shoulders. We did some work before them. But that's the job. Innovation, Niigata innovation. That's what this conference is also about, you know. That's why I love it. I really love it. It occurs in nature, huh? Interesting. Did you know? Shells are built on Fibonacci sequence. So maybe the big picture is skateboard up to space shuttle. Again, the big picture, huh? Some problems are small. Coding is small, testing is small. Some things require more time. If you do your estimation wrong, then your Kanban and your sprint boards will be wrong. You need to be able to do this at the right scale. So that's another thing you might want to think about when you keep the big picture with the big camera. You don't have to laugh at that anymore. It works every time. Amy went like this. That's an old symbol for the big picture. But in fact, you're looking at it down. You're looking at it like this. You see? This is detail, this is less, but it's all one whole. Okay? How many of your companies are going through transformation, agile transformation, digital transformation? Yeah, of course, everyone. Everyone. That's at the big level. Then you have to go to a program. Maybe you have the agile program. Then you have the project. Then you have your phase or your team and your role. But this whole target, this whole reality is the big picture. Let's go over here now. At the detail, you have the project or the individuals in your teams, but you also have the market and the trends, international. You need to keep these all in mind, or you will fail. Blade Runner, 1983, directed by Ridley Scott. Harrison Ford is a Blade Runner. He's hunting half human, half robot. But one technology he uses reminded, as I was doing the slides, I thought, oh yeah, that's true. There's a nice scene called the enhance scene. And he goes in, and what he does is he walks through reality, yeah? And he has a capture device. This is back in 1983, yeah? And when he's going in, he's got capturing data. Then he goes home and he drinks a bit of sake. Well, it's whiskey. And he can look at the reality he's been in all day, and he can rewind his day and then zoom in to certain things and go on different angles. Like right now, I'm here, and then I go back to my hotel and I zoom into this guy here, right here, this guy, right here. And I zoom into his backpack and it says outdoor products. Oh, he has outdoor products. That's a small detail. Might be important to me later. And that's important for this character. He zooms in. And he sees that one thing in. Then he zooms in on her neck. And he sees a tattoo. So she can't go to the onsen. Huh? She sees tattoo, and then it's a snake on her neck, and he knows where to go. So when he's looking now, he goes, who's the lady with the snake, you know? Very interesting. You can also zoom out to find a problem. Remember, you just have the snake tattoo, and you work your way out. But this is investigation. This is detective. This is how you should test your programs. Investigate them. Check them. Yeah? It would be nice if we had that ability. That's what I'm trying to get you to do. We're almost done. So how do we know if we're sufficient? Where do we start? What level? It's difficult. There's no rule. You have to kind of go in and out. Okay? But wherever you find the right focus, adversity, unexpected events, problems, they will come. You need to zoom into the right layer first to correct the problem. Don't waste your time too much in the detail or not. What is Scrum Fest Niigata? What is it? What is Scrum Fest Niigata to you? What is it? Anyone? Chonpai-san, what is Scrum Fest Niigata to you? Gathering. It's a gathering of people. What is Scrum Fest Niigata for you? What is it? Speak English? If you're quiet, I just assume you're talking telepathically, so. What is it for you? Gathering and sake. For me, it's sharing ideas with my friends who have sake, right? But one thing is for sure is that life, you can look on life or your problems as a problem, or you can look on it as an experience. You're guaranteed to have problems, or you're not making good software. I tell you that. I trust you, believe you. If you're not making problems, then your software is too simple and it's already been made. But if you're trying to solve something difficult, then you will have defects. The devil is sometimes in the detail, or the God is in the detail. But your test cases, for example, one example is everyone used to ask me how detailed we want the test case, or how generic we want our test case. And my answer always was, it depends on what we want to test. If we want to test at the high level of the architecture, then make a high-level test. If you need to test very detailed, and you have detailed requirements and specifications or a detailed system, then test detail. But try to, where do you go? Do you go top down or bottom up? It depends. I like to start in the middle. Okay? The Japanese were very good at making planes. Mitsubishi, Zeros, the planes, very good. Why? Because, like the sword, samurai sword, like the knives, very good about the material, about the metal. So very detailed, the molecules, the way to fold, and then all the way up to the metal, to the plane, to the system. That holistic way of thinking gives you a good system. But systems can get very complicated. So you need to be able to dissect. And one way to get to that, for example, if you go to Bruges, I'm going to do a quick zoom now. You go into Bruges, let's go to Bruges, my city, and you go in and you find a knight. He's kind of like a shogun, and he has a motto, plus c'est en vous. Notice he has unicorns, like Niigata Scrum, from the 15th century. Plus c'est en vous, it means more is in you than you think. And if you go in carefully to his system, he wears a necklace, he's a knight, like a samurai, and the knight has these, and in the detail, this means the universe. It means the big picture. So you see, sometimes when you zoom in deep, you find the detail, and when you zoom out. We're going closer into the civilography, and we find that we go into a coat of arms, and in the coat of arms, you see plus ultra. You see? Plus, ultra, ultra, ooh, ultra. Oh, it's like Ultraman. Hi. So in the small detail, we have ultra. Ultraman is a man or a woman who is ultra, more than. Okay? So sometimes you need your zoom glasses. Yeah, you can see he's from the M78, he's from the land of light, strong justice, but you see, he has the ability to zoom in. I live in Brussels. It says that they're protecting 1 billion people. That's a big picture. Me in my living room, I like to have lots of small pictures and one big picture, but do you see this one here? Or I go forward, sorry. You see this one here? This reminds me that the devil is in the details. Keep the big picture in mind. Good books about the big picture, about the origins of the universe, that's not what I'm talking about, but it's good to understand. one thing that's nice about zooming in and getting the picture, you don't want to zoom in too much. Something that can help is a causal loop diagram. There's many tools you can use in your brain, but causal loop diagram is a nice one for the big picture. It just shows cause and effect. And one guy who did a good book on this is Dennis Sherwood, and he says, seeing the forest through the trees. You see, if you go in the forest and you just look too detailed at the tree, you lose the forest. If you look at the forest, you lose the tree. Okay, so cause and effect, simple. Volume of transactions in my system, the workload on my system, I can cope with it or I can't. If there's defects, sometimes we get a vicious circle, there's an error, it comes back, it puts more pressure on us, and we have a bad system we can never fix. So keep the idea that it's about these interactions, okay? And you can draw lots of loops. Maybe an idea for you to have strategic mindedness, not tactical. So, when you fix something, you know you sometimes cause another problem. And if you want something that's fast, it won't be cheap and good. If you want something that's good, it won't be fast and cheap. And if you want something that's cheap, it's not going to be fast and good. You see? Bad, expensive, slow. Pick two, lose the other. This is called a trilemma, and invented by Sir Arthur Charles Clarke, the guy who wrote 2001 Space Odyssey. In Chinese, in the Tao Te Ching, we have a chapter 11. The Tao Te Ching means a way to do something, the way. Yeah? And the Book of Changes, yeah, I talk about change. So here's what they say. They say, when you think about a method or process, think of it as nothing. When you look at a wheel, yeah, it says, don't look at the spokes. Look at the nothing between, and then you see the usefulness of the wheel. When you find a cup or a bowl, don't look at the bowl, look at the nothing. When you look at a building, don't look at the building, look at the windows and the doors. That's what makes something useful. So you can use what's there, but even more important, you should recognize what is not. Concepts, mindsets are what is not. It's in the head. Use it. Don't always just use your tools. Okay? What's interesting about the old Chinese philosophy is you have opposites. Water is the opposite of fire. It's got two broken lines, solid and broken. This one has two solid and broken. And then you can create, the old Chinese years ago were going for balance in solutions. So they built them into hexagrams. Hot and cold, old and new. Everything is balance. Okay? Not to get too abstract or esoteric, what I'm saying is, when you need to do this Zoom, you work out your question, consider all of the big and small, hot and cold, fun and not fun, and then you find a solution. Keep the big picture. Yeah, it's talking about zooming in and zooming out, because they work with hexagrams eventually in the Book of Changes, so there's many solutions to a problem. That's all I want you to understand. How much time? All right. So, IT complexity will always grow, so you need to know how to zoom in. Yeah, stopping soon. Funny thing, the most detailed thing we have, one of the most detailed things is the transistor. Right now in the world, there's a shortage on this. So the big systems can't be built. We can't get your car, because we have a shortage. Yeah, right. So you see, the small can be very important to the big. But the point is, I talked about good testing last year. And it's about transparency, observing the quality. There were a couple challenge questions. One was, does it go against making money? What are some criteria? The same thing. I think that this talk complements the good testing. So if you saw that and this, now it might make more sense. Okay? The big picture. So what did I talk to you about today? Well, there's a big picture. Sake. Do you drink all of them? No, you will drink only one, maybe. But you will do it dryness, richness, aroma. Yeah, you need to have some criteria, I agree. But in the end, you also need to have fun. I would not want to drink my sake here. I prefer to drink at Nino. Yeah. The big picture. You need feedback. Remember the Japanese football team? They worked as individuals, but they also worked as a team. That's why you had success. The big picture. And the fans are part of that as well. Everyone's happy when there's a success. Now to close, absolute close. Scrum Tokyo to me is the same. Of course, we're here, Niigata, but the big picture is everyone together. And to just put on a conference like this, lots of work with translators and people, lots of work, that's the big picture. Everyone working together, right? I'm happy to be part of that team. Very happy to be part of that whole. So thank you. These are the things I talked about. We reach the big picture, some rules, how we put it in, how we test it, how we check it out, how we know if we have enough quality sufficiently, and that's the end of my talk. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Daniel Maslin. I'll ask if anyone has question first in this room, and then I'll ask if anyone has question in Nino 3, and then I'll ask anyone if has a question at online. So first of all, if anyone has question in this room.
Great. Oh, you want to stop the big picture? I like it. Okay, you want this off? No problem. Oh, cool. We can look at ourselves now. You're the brave one, you know? I saw you ask the question the first time. Yes, please.
Yes, so thank you so much for your talk. It was really kind of refreshing to me, and I've had a lot of things that I learned that I think one of my colleagues have always been having in his mind, but I wasn't really able to fully understand. Now I think I understand him a little bit more. And my question is, given that I am an individual and I am an engineer, I don't have too much influence over my or the company and the I don't know how much of an influence I have on the whole. So as an individual, what is the most, or how should I say, the most important thing I should keep in mind in order to be able to, kind of not really like evangelize, but in order to incorporate kind of these big picture ideas into the people around me?
Thank you for 2 questions. And you're very good at making questions. Because her first part is saying, I think I understand a colleague of mine better. Maybe the colleague is always thinking in the big, or maybe too detailed. So, it's really, remember the elephant and the mouse? It's hard to talk between them. And that's so great that you say. I'm glad maybe when you go back to your work, you might say, okay, look, I think I understand now. You really big picture and I'm more detailed and you want to. So I'm glad, first off, thank you for the first part. Now, the second part of your question is, I'm an individual. I'm just an engineer. And I feel, I'm part of the big company. I don't have influence at the big company. How can I do that? Or what is my place? Okay, 3 things. 1, remember the motto of my knight. Remember? He has a chain and his motto is plus et en vous. It means in French, more is in you than you think there is. Right? So, There is the theory about the butterfly wing, but you are very important. Not only in your company, but in the whole world. Funny, huh? You might be the one that discovers the new technology or the new thing that changes the whole world. You might be. You might not, but you might. I don't underestimate anyone to change the world with a new idea. 1. 2, you have a choice. If you feel like you don't have any influence above N1 and you don't help people below, train them, because that's your job actually, to be a mentor, then you need to either go up or go down, where you do have the influence you want. If you feel you're a leader, I see it in you, because you're courageous to ask the first question, etc. If you feel you have the ambition and then you are able to grasp the picture, then I would say it's your responsibility to go up and become more influential. Because then we need good leaders like you.
I'm not too confident in that.
I am very confident in that. I see it. I know it from experience. So, is that a little bit of an answer to your question? Because I can answer it to you another way.
I would like to hear all of it.
Okay.
Your answers.
The other answer to you would be, even at your own level, you can start to influence. So there are called circles of influence. Yeah. So you can expand your circles of influence by networking, by asking questions, by going to the coffee machine and talking to the manager. I don't know, I know there's some organizations where you can't talk to the manager, I don't know. But ideally, you should have transparent communication along the levels. And if you have a good idea, that's Kaizen, no? If you have a good idea, you can bring it all the way up and all the way down. So everyone in the team is important. You are important. Everyone is important. And if you feel you're just a piece of a machine and part of a big, then you can sit there and be a victim, or you can try and go up or try and influence. So either horizontal or up. If you get enough horizontal, then you move everyone up. I hope it's an answer to your question.
Yes, and I think I've been, for the past few months maybe, been working on the ladder kind of way of doing things. And
congratulations.
Maybe it should be time for me to consider like doing both, maybe, yeah.
Everyone, give her a clap. We give you good energy.
Thank you so much.
The fact that you even see that means you're halfway there.
Okay, I'll keep trying.
And you probably will fail.
Yeah.
And then you just get back up again and keep going, then you will be there. Don't let anyone stop you. So the fact that you even took the time to come to Scrum Niigata Festival means you're wanting new ideas. So that's to be respected.
Thank you so much.
Arigato. Doitashimashite.
Thank you very much. Does anyone have question at online? If you want to turn on your mic and ask him. Anyone?
Or anyone here?
No one online?
One?
Okay, then go.
Thank you for your great talk. And
Welcome.
I ask you, I think make big picture and sharing big picture at once is not so difficult, but big picture is changing. And manager look so far, and engineering so by nearby, and there is a conflict. And how can we continue big picture keeping?
Yeah. I translate your question as how can we keep on the big picture when we have a conflict between management and us? Again, it's very organizational related. Eh? So, this big picture is about the system itself, testing, detail down into it. But I see you guys are very interested in the organizational side. So, you communicate what you see. Imagine if we're here and I'm walking in Niigata and I have a problem. Something, I don't know. I see someone fall, they're not healthy. But it's an individual, I have a choice. I can help call, I can help them, or I can ignore and just keep walking, right? Yeah. In Belgium, you cannot. In Belgium, you must help. It's law. Yeah. If you see someone fall, you must help them. You must call. It's law. If you go away and they're hurt, you are responsible because we think you're responsible for your other person in life, your medemens, your fellow citizen. Right? Individualism is one thing, but if I see a problem at my own individual level, I can help. If I'm walking in Niigata, I just give an experience. Sorry, I don't want to give bad name to Niigata. And I'm walking and I get attacked, I don't know, and they take my wallet, like sometimes. Then I have to call who? I have to escalate, right? I have to go to the police, or do I have to go to, yeah? I could run after the man and get him, but then I'm just a vigilante. I'm taking the law into my own hand. This is forbidden. This is the way it used to be long ago, before police. Then I had to help myself. What you're saying is, I see the organization, I see the big picture. How do I communicate with my management if there's a conflict? Well, it's the mouse and the elephant. Maybe they don't see the panda.
Yes.
The management doesn't see the panda and the employees see the problem. Then you need to diplomatically, very gently, very humbly tell your manager there is a problem. Yes? And they will say, what? There is no problem. Everything's fine. Yeah? I'm happy. No problem. And you need to say facts. No, there, you prove it. Huh? We see this, and we see this. Yeah, and we see this. You have to be like the scout, remember? You have to just the facts, not pessimism, not optimism. Just don't scare the management. Oh, we have a problem. Oh, we have problem. No. Or, we have problem. No. Just, we have problem. Here's the facts. Here's the situation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. 2
Not
minutes.
easy.
2 minutes. 最後、質
Great
問
question.
どなたか、はい、では。
All right. I remember. Great to see you. Great to see you.
Thank you very much, Daniel.
Welcome very much.
That's great. So I'd like to confirm that how to express. How to express such a big picture, or such and that. Is my understanding is a kind of the testing policy or testing planning or such kind of, yeah. What do you think? How to express the big picture?
Nice. Of testing.
Yes.
So the funny thing is, sometimes my job is I go into organizations. I'm not a coach, okay? I'm not a coach. But I sometimes go in and I facts, I use facts and criteria to check the organization in testing. And then I provide ideas to them, like a roadmap, you know? Like, here, you might want to try this and this and this, okay? There I have to be very diplomatic, okay? But I cannot give these suggestions unless I get the big picture, you know? And I need to understand what are the external things.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, these are called enablers, you know? So even if your testing is perfect, your test cases are perfect, the testers are a good team, but you have someone who controls the environment or someone who controls it, and they don't talk, it's a problem. Okay, now, some companies like to have a test policy, you know? We will test this way.
Yeah.
And we will use
That's right.
this method and these test cases and this stuff. It's okay. It's okay. Sometimes people need to be told what they need structure.
Yes.
But the big picture goes beyond testing. Because testing is just one aspect of quality, you know?
Yes.
Some people say testing is just checking, you know? But so the big picture would be like TDD, who shifted left and they started to test earlier. You know, ideally, the quality of the system is built at the very moment of the requirements and the idea, from all the way to. So that's the big picture. So if there's going to be a test policy, then there has to be a development policy.
yeah.
Then there has to be a management policy. Then there has to be, and then there has to be some overcoupling.
Oh, yes.
That's the big picture. Call it the company vision, but usually it's about the mission statement. You know, every company has an objective. If you're a car company, you want to make the safest, best, greatest car. What's the big trend? Also green, good for the earth. Okay. Yeah?
Yes.
So the big picture is the big picture, the company, its policies, everything.
Okay.
It's everything.
Okay.
I hope it answers the question.
Oh, thank you very much.
Do you agree?
Yep. That's right.
Hi.
But how to express this?
How to express.
That's a whole thing in
Okay.
over the mission.
Right. So so you need to then express the spectrum, map it out.
Spectrum.
The spectrum between. Remember the red line?
Okay.
I took you into Niigata from the planet all the way down to this door. Yeah? You need to know the boundaries first. Explain the boundaries.
Okay.
Okay, hold on. I talk to you, but I talk to them, right?
Yes.
So express the boundaries. You know, what is our testing doing? Are we just writing test cases, or are we interested in the quality policy, the testing policy? Where do we start? Where do we end? How do we express that? Is direct communication.
Okay.
Face to face, straightforward, simple, with facts to our management and to our people below. Okay? Transparent.
Okay.
You're the boss of the company. You're my boss. And you're my colleague. And you're my end user. Okay? I need to get you together. This is what they wanted first with the three amigos, developer, tester, and analyst, you know? Don't break it apart. How do you express it? You express it and you let him express it. Well, let's say you're my boss.
yes.
You express. You're my supervisor. You express. You're my colleague. You express. You're my end user. You express. We talk. And then we get the big picture.
Oh,
Thank
great.
you.
Thank you
Hi.
very much.
Yes. Hi. Arigato.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hope it makes sense.
Unfortunately, the time is up.
No, great.
So if anyone have any question further, I'm sure Daniel will hang out somewhere, so you can ask him directly.
Absolutely.
So yeah, this is the end of your presentation.
Yep.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much for the great
Arigato-san.
presentation. Mr. Daniel Maslin.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.